Welcome to the Whillans Drive Extension Municipal Class Environmental Assessment Study Public Information Center, or PIC. This video will go over the PIC display materials. However, if you would like to just view a PDF version of the display materials, they are available on the project website. The City of Brampton is undertaking a Schedule B Municipal Class Environmental Assessment, or EA, for the extension of Whillans Drive south of Church Street. The study area is located in downtown Brampton, and the study area includes Rosalie Park, YMCA, and a mix of residential, institutional, and green space areas. As part of the EA study, several consultation milestones have occurred. The Notice of Study Commencement announcing the start of the study was issued in February 2021 in the local newspaper and distributed to local residents, businesses, technical agencies, and Indigenous communities. More recently, a technical agency committee meeting was held on March 1, 2022, and a stakeholder group meeting was held on April 7, 2022, to present the study to date and the preliminary recommended design. Now we are holding the online PIC from April 28 to May 27 to present the project and the preferred preliminary design concept. The purpose of the PIC is to provide background on the project, outline the existing conditions in the study area, present the alternatives that were considered and evaluated, present the preferred preliminary design concept, and to summarize the key impacts and mitigation measures of the design. The PIC is also to provide an opportunity for the public to review the project and submit any questions and comments to the project team. To provide some background information on what the Municipal Class EA is, it is an approved process under the Ontario Environmental Assessment Act for municipal infrastructure projects, such as roadworks. The Municipal Class EA process is to allow for transparent decision-making and alternative evaluation process while also considering the protection of the natural, cultural, social, and economic environment. Based on the scope of the study has been determined to fall under a Schedule B project, requiring completion of phases 1 and 2 of the Municipal Class EA. The two phases are described in more detail in the graphic below. At the end of the study, a project file report will be prepared to document the EA study and will be made available for a 30-day public review period. To better understand the need for this EA study, we should understand other relevant plans and studies that have been completed that apply to this area. The City of Brampton's Transportation Master Plan, or TMP, was updated in 2015. The TMP is a document that looks at existing and future traffic volumes and patterns in the City of Brampton based on growth and future development and recommends transportation improvements. The TMP has identified a two-lane extension of Whillans Drive south of Church Street to Nelson Street and an off-road trail that follows the same alignment. The Downtown Brampton Flood Protection EA is an EA study that was completed in 2020 to reduce flooding risk in downtown Brampton to allow the area to grow and develop. The study also considered opportunities to enhance the natural environment, particularly revitalizing Etobicoke Creek. Recommendations from the study included widening and deepening the creek channel, naturalizing Etobicoke Creek north of Church Street, and raising the grade of Church Street, the Whillans Drive intersection, and the Church Street Bridge. The Riverwalk Urban Design Master Plan, or the Riverwalk UDMP, or just simply Riverwalk, is the city's initiative to transform the riverfront along Etobicoke Creek into a usable and vibrant open space so that it is a feature that can be enjoyed by residents and visitors. The Riverwalk UDMP has identified concepts for Rosalie Park, specifically as one of the key areas of this revitalization plan. Part of the vision for Rosalie Park includes creating open and events spaces, an urban plaza, and improving access and connection to Etobicoke Creek itself. This Whillans EA has considered the Riverwalk vision for Rosalie Park and understanding that this road is meant to be a flexible use street that supports active modes of transportation and is compatible with Rosalie Park activities. The project team has been coordinating recommendations with city staff that are part of the Riverwalk project. Phase 1 of the Municipal Class EA requires the preparation of a problem and opportunity statement. Based on the relevant background studies and the needs of this area, the project team has developed the following problem and opportunity statement. The city has established a planning vision to revitalize the downtown Brampton and Etobicoke Creek area that includes growth and redevelopment, improved facilities and amenities, and a strong sense of place and character. As part of the Riverwalk Area UDMP, Rosalie Park and adjacent lands are proposed to be developed as a multi-use, vibrant urban attraction for the city, as well as a revitalization stimulus for the downtown core. Rosalie Park will form a key component of the downtown's public realm and open space system by providing a dedicated space for downtown activities, creating an attractive interface with the natural environment, and establishing downtown Brampton's character and identity. Based on these considerations, several problems to be addressed through this study were identified. The existing transportation network does not sufficiently support the city's vision. There is a lack of direct connectivity to Rosalie Park, and existing auto-oriented facilities are a barrier to walking and cycling. We also identified opportunities that could be addressed through this study, including an opportunity to improve the existing transportation network to complement and support Brampton Vision 2040 and the Riverwalk UDMP, as well as improving and providing a connected, accessible, safe, and vibrant public realm and open space system. As part of this EA, several technical studies are being undertaken in order to understand the existing conditions of the study area, as well as to determine the impacts of the proposed design. The following technical studies are underway or have been completed: a transportation and traffic study, a natural environment assessment report, a cultural heritage report, a Phase 1 environmental site assessment, a socioeconomic report, a stormwater management memo, and a geotechnical study. A Stage 1 archaeological assessment was completed as part of the Downtown Brampton Flood Protection EA, which covers the study area. Through the transportation and traffic study, we reviewed the existing transportation infrastructure in the study area. There is no transit along Union and Church Streets. However, along these streets there is a signed bicycle route and sidewalks. Multi-use paths are available in Rosalie Park and extend further northeast of Ken Whillans Drive. Both the Ken Whillans Drive and Church Street and Union Street and Nelson Street intersections are currently unsignalized and operating well. A multimodal level of service analysis was also completed, which determined that cycling and pedestrian uses are operating at acceptable levels of service. The existing natural environment is primarily comprised of urban, paved, or manicured environments. Most of the study area falls within Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, or TRCA, regulated area. There are some woodland areas throughout the study area, as well as some street trees along local roads in Rosalie Park. The Etobicoke Creek Concrete Channel is located east of the study area. There is potential for species at risk bats and birds in the wooded areas or on human-made structures. The Cultural Heritage Report identified 2 built heritage resources and 6 cultural heritage landscapes, as shown on the maps surrounding the study area. Some of these resources are designated as having cultural heritage value under the Ontario Heritage Act or are listed on the city's Municipal Heritage Register. The Stage 1 archaeological assessment identifies areas that have archaeological potential, which means the potential to find archaeological resources, such as historic artifacts. Areas shown in pink retain archaeological potential and will require additional archaeological assessment. Areas in green require visual confirmation of disturbance. Before getting into the alternatives considered for the EA study, evaluation criteria were developed in order to evaluate the alternatives against each other. The evaluation criteria are broken down into 5 main groups, including transportation, natural, cultural, socioeconomic, and costs criteria. The first alternatives the project team reviewed are alternative solutions or high-level planning options that are meant to address the problem and opportunity statement. 6 alternative solutions were considered and include doing nothing, which represents the baseline scenario, limit development in the downtown area, localize improvements to existing roads and intersections, and 3 extension options: extending Ken Whillans to the east and connecting to Scott Street, extending Ken Whillans to the south and connecting to Queen Street, and extending Ken Whillans to the west and connecting to the Nelson Street and Union Street intersection. The 6 alternatives were then evaluated against each other using the previous evaluation criteria. For the purpose of this presentation, we won't walk through each cell. However, the PIC materials are available in PDF on the project website for those that want to read through. The key findings of the evaluation is that extension of Ken Whillans Drive to the west is preferred, as it best supports connectivity and active transportation. There are no major constructability concerns, and it complements the Riverwalk vision at Rosalie Park. In terms of natural and cultural environment impacts, it is similar to some of the other alternatives. After identifying that extension to the west was preferred, the next alternatives considered how the street should be designed. 4 street design options were prepared. The first is a shared street, which includes a shared space for all modes of transportation with a focus on the pedestrian space. The street would not have curves and would utilize pavement types to delineate different areas. The second is a bike boulevard design, where bikes and cars will travel in the same lane. The third is to make this road for active transportation only. There'd be no lanes for traffic and the full right-of-way is for bikes and pedestrians. The fourth is a conventional multimodal street, where all modes have their own right-of-ways. These street design options were again evaluated against each other using the previous evaluation criteria. If you would like to read this evaluation in more detail, these slides are available online. However, for the purpose of this presentation, we will highlight the key considerations. The shared street option was selected as a recommended alternative as it best accommodated pedestrians while allowing for vehicular access, and it best supported the future use of Rosalie Park with strong potential to incorporate streetscaping and flexible spaces for events. Because this street design does not have a curb and uses different pavers, it is easier to seamlessly blend into Rosalie Park and will not divide the park. To provide some more details on what this street design might look like, here are some conceptual graphics of the street. The key features of this design is that there will be no curbs, and different surfaces such as pavers or stones will be used to differentiate zones. Lay-by zones are part of the design and are a flexible space for uses such as food trucks, parking, and farmers markets. This design prioritizes active transportation access to Rosalie Park and fosters a low-speed environment by transforming a typically car-prioritized space to shared space inclusive for all modes. Through this design, drivers will be deterred from using this road as a through road. During events, vehicular access can be restricted when needed. The width shown in the cross-section is preliminary and can be adjusted depending on adjacent land uses. Then the project team looked at street alignment considerations, or in other words, how will we be extending Ken Whillans to the west? Several high-level concepts were considered and are shown in the graphic. The key factors considered in selecting the alignment was that the alignment should tie into the existing intersections, it should balance the space on both sides of the road, and that it should minimize impacts to YMCA and trees where possible. Based on these factors, alignment alternative TC is the preferred alignment. Based on the conceptual alignment shown previously, the preliminary design was refined and is shown on the graphic on the slide. The preliminary design incorporates the recommended alternatives including extending Ken Whillans Drive to the west and the shared street design. In the vicinity of the YMCA and the tennis courts, the right-of-way width of the street was reduced to minimize impacts. Key features of the design are that the road extension will tie into the existing intersections. Both the Church Street and Ken Whillans Drive and Union Street and Nelson Street will remain stop controlled. The Union Street and Nelson Street intersection will become an all-way stop. Crosswalk pavement markings will be incorporated at the intersections. However, additional complete streets principles can be incorporated during detailed design. During detailed design, the street will also be designed according to accessibility guidelines. The traffic assessment also confirmed that traffic will operate at acceptable levels with this extension design. Stormwater management was also reviewed, and it was determined that minimal treatment is required as pavers will be used, allowing runoff and water to drain back into the ground as opposed to traditional pavement which is not permeable. Some water quality treatment is incorporated at the existing intersections. In terms of the natural environment, there will be temporary disturbance during construction and the removal of street trees, though most of these are non-native species. To mitigate these impacts, tree removal will occur outside of sensitive timing windows for birds and bats. Trees will be replanted, also providing an opportunity to replant native species, and general construction best management practices to limit or avoid impacts on natural features and wildlife will be implemented. The proposed design includes impacts to areas that retain archaeological potential. Therefore, a Stage 2 archaeological assessment should be completed where there are proposed works. There are no direct adverse cultural heritage impacts, though there are indirect impacts from the proximity of work. To mitigate those impacts, works will avoid direct impacts where possible, and through post-construction planting or vibration monitoring as required. A heritage impact assessment may be prepared as per discussion with the city's Heritage Department. In terms of property impacts, most of the work is located on city-owned property. There will be some property required from the YMCA on the south end of the alignment. The city has had and will continue to have ongoing consultation with the YMCA about the project and property requirements. There are some existing utilities within the study area, primarily at the two intersections. The utilities will be consulted and utility relocation will be coordinated as required during detailed design. There are also general temporary impacts resulting from construction works and staging, such as impacts to access and noise. During detailed design, a traffic staging plan will be prepared in order to minimize traffic impacts, particularly relating to maintaining access for YMCA. General construction best management practices will be followed, and timing of construction activities will be restricted by the city's noise bylaw. Following this PIC, we will review and respond to any comments received from the PIC and will make any updates to the preliminary recommended design as required based on comments. Then the technical reports will be completed and finalized, and the project file report will be prepared to document the EA study. The project file report will then be issued for the 30-day public review period. Outside the scope of the study, the recommendations of the EA will eventually be carried through to detailed design, where the design and impacts will be finalized. We welcome your comments and questions on the EA study. The best way to provide your feedback is to submit a response on the online comment form on the project website. We are receiving comments until May 27, 2022. We hope that this presentation was informative, and we look forward to hearing from you.